My name is Grant Browning, and I read the book Boys in the Boat. I really love this book. I had watched the movie previously, but I'd never read the book, and it is quite amazing to hear about the story of Joe Rance and how he was able to overcome so many personal things in his life to be able to join this rowing team and thrive in his community at Washington. Yeah, he faced very many challenges and like overcame quite a bit of adversity, especially growing up with his circumstances with his family and things like that. And so I feel like that's a pretty amazing way. There was quite a few systems of like oppressiveness that he was able to overcome, whether it be like his family leaving him, like he had to be independent for almost his entire life, and then not like the hard work that he had to overcome and especially in the beginning of the book, it talked a lot about he had to wear like the same raggedy clothes every single time he went to practice, while the rest of the boys were in brand new uniforms that they could wash and wear reuse every day. So I feel like for Joe, that must have been pretty tough that he had to understand that this is what my situation is, and he had to make the best of that. So I feel like his identity also played an important role in this book. He, I don't think he would have made it as far as he did in the rowing team without um, the just personal will that he had. He was definitely persevered through a lot of challenging situations. He knew what he needed to do, and he was willing to do whatever it took to get through and to make yeah himself proud. So I feel like that was pretty encouraging to see. Um, so I feel like from this text, there's a lot of things we can take away. I feel like just especially at Whitworth, it's a private school. The tuition's expensive. I mean, people that go to college in general, just obviously doing off a little bit better than a lot of people in the United States and around the world. And so I feel like this is just a good reminder of how many people live this life, especially not now, but still now, but especially in the olden times, back in the during the Great Depression in the 30s and 40s. Just a lot of people had really hard lives. One scene that stuck out to me particularly was when he was riding the train, and he was going back to Washington from a trip, and he looked out the window and would see all the people that were just fleeing their homes, and they had just left everything behind, and they could only take what they had on their backs, basically. And I feel like that was such like an interesting scene because he was bad off, and then now he's kind of like looking at all these people that are also just as bad off. And I feel like that kind of gave him a sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. And it really is just hard for a lot of people. So that was pretty interesting to see. Um, yeah, there was historical event that influenced this text for me. So when it was talking about the building of the Grand Coulee Dam, the boat maker in the I can't remember his name, Pocock, he had gone over to listen to FDR talk about the building of the Grand Coulee Dam, and I really like that. He it said people came from all over Washington to meet in a tiny little town called Ephrata, Washington, which I have quite a few family members there, and I've been there many times. So that was kind of fun to hear. And then they were talking about building the Grand Coulee Dam, which my grandpa actually helped build the third power generator at the kind of towards the end. So that was just fun to hear them talk about that and talk about Spokane and some of the history that kind of relates to my life and understanding like, yeah, that really, I mean, the reason I'm here and my family's here is because my grandparents' parents and my grandparents' grandparents came over here from Nebraska to help build that dam. So part of the reason I'm here is because of that same story. So that was pretty cool to see. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this book overall. I really feel like that was a nice read for me and just a good reminder of all the different things that people have gone through in their lives. And it's just kind of a humbling moment of like, okay, we have it pretty well off. And so, yeah, that was pretty exciting. Thank you.